Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Today we will continue from the part 2 of infrared spectroscopy. Infrared spectroscopy part 2. In the previous lecture we learned about some types of vibrations. There are two types of vibrations. One is stretching, which consists of symmetric and asymmetric types. The second one is bending. Bending consists of scissoring, rocking, wagging and twisting. Many possible absorption per molecule exist: stretching, bending, wagging and rocking. Vibrational modes leading to IR absorption consist of symmetric stretching, symmetric bending, bending vibration out of plane like twisting, asymmetric stretching vibration as one atom moves towards the center, the other moves away, asymmetric bending vibration in a plane such as rocking, asymmetric bending vibration out of plane like wagging. So these are very important types of molecular vibration. The factor influencing the absorption includes symmetry. Symmetric compounds do not possess dipole moment and are IR active, such as symmetric acetylene as shown in the figure here. Coupling. There are so many factors which cause coupled vibration in IR, and it will influence the intensity and shape of the absorption bands, such as normally the band due to CC bond is around at 1650 cm inverse, but due to the mechanical coupling of two CC systems in alanine, it gives two bands at 1960 and 1970 cm inverse. The third one is Fermi resonance. Fermi resonance results in an unexpected shift in energy and intensity of the bands, such as the overtone of CH deformation mode at 1400 cm inverse is always in Fermi resonance, with the stretch of the same bond at 2800 cm inverse. We already discussed Fermi resonance in detail in our previous class. The other factor is hydrogen bonding. It can change the shape and position of infrared bands. Stronger the hydrogen bonding, greater the absorption shift, such as in intermolecular compounds it shows broad bands, while in intramolecular compounds it shows sharp bands. The other factor is electronic effect. Electronic effects such as inductive, mesomeric and field effect may cause shift in absorption bands due to the change in absorption frequency. For example, inductive effect in acetone cause shift at 1615 cm inverse, and in chloroacetone it shows 1725 cm inverse. Mesomeric acetophenone 1693 cm inverse and para amino acetophenone 1677 cm inverse. So these effects change the absorption frequency. Bond angles. Different in bond angle can also lead to change in absorption bands, such as in the below figures. By changing the ring strains, the intensity of absorption also change. This is a simple instrumentation of IR spectrum, where there is a IR source having some monochromatic system, reference and samples, also the splitters, then some detectors, and then different IR spectrum display monitors. How infrared spectroscopy works. The infrared radiation is split into two beams. One beam passes through the sample cell and the other passes through the reference cell as shown in the figure below. The reference cell, like a control group, is used to measure the effect of the material of the sample cell, the solvent and the conditions of the atmosphere, so that these effects can be discounted from information retrieved by the sample cell. The difference in transmitted radiation between the sample and the reference cell is because of absorption of certain frequencies by the molecules of the sample. These absorptions then result in changes in the vibrational energy of the molecule under examination. This is picked up by the detector. Then these things are recorded and the vibrational frequency absorptions are shown on the display units. Vibrational modes consist of normal mode. Normal mode of an oscillating system is a pattern of motion in which all parts of the system move sinusoidally with the same frequency. In combination bands are observed when more than two or more fundamental vibrations are excited simultaneously. These combination modes arise from the anharmonicities of the oscillators, which leads to an interaction of the vibrational states in polyatomic molecules. Third one is overtones. Overtones consist of multiples of given frequency results from excitation from ground state to the higher energy states. Overtone occur when the vibrational mode is excited from zero vibration to second state vibration, which is called the first overtone, or vibration 0 to vibration 3, the second overtone. So the 0 to 1 is known as fundamental, 0 to 2 is known as first overtone, then there is a second overtone and third and fourth. Instrumentation of IR spectrum consists of 5 major parts including IR radiation sources, wavelength selectors, sample holder or cells, different type of detectors, recorders. We will look each part one by one now. First of all, there is IR sources. Inert solids heated electrically to temperature of 1500 to 2000 Kelvin in all the IR sources. The first source is Nernst glower. The picture of Nernst glower is shown here. It is like a bulb as in our homes. It consists of cylinder of rare earth oxide formed into a cylinder of diameter 1 to 2 mm, length approximately 20 mm. It consists of platinum discs at the end of cylinders to permit electric connections. These discs are heated to a temperature of 1200 to 2200 Kelvin, where IR radiations can be emitted. Nernst glower rare earth metals have large negative temperature coefficient of electrical resistance. A negative temperature coefficient occurs when a physical property such as thermal conductivity or electric resistivity of a material lowers with increasing temperature, typically in a defined temperature range. Temperature is inversely related to resistance. At low temperature, they provide high resistance to flow current, and as cylinder gets heated, resistance gets reduced, allowing conduction of current. If large amount of current flows through cylinder, it can destroy the source. To avoid this, source circuit should be designed to limit the current. The second one is Glauber source. The Glauber source is similar to Nernst glower. It is also made up of cylinders. The material used in these are silicon carbide. Length of cylinder is 15 mm and diameter is 5 mm. It has positive temperature coefficient of electrical resistance. At low temperature, they provide low resistance to flow current, and as cylinder gets heated, resistance increasing, allowing conduction of current. To avoid excessive heating, water cooling is necessary. At high temperature source, it emits IR radiation. The third one is incandescent wire source like nichrome wire. Cylinder in the above source is tightly wound by a spiral wire of nichrome or rhodium. It is electrically heated at 1100 Kelvin to give us IR radiation. The other one is mercury arc as shown in the figure here. It is made up of quartz jacketed tube containing mercury vapors. Electrically passed through mercury vapors provide radiations. Tungsten filament used in near IR region. Carbon dioxide laser source. Detection of pollutants in air. Carbon dioxide laser source is used for the detection of pollutants in the air. This laser source is also shown here in the figure. The second part is wavelength selector. Wavelength selectors are consist of filters and monochromators, while monochromators are further divided into entrance slits, collimating lens or mirror, dispersion elements, prism or gratings, focusing lens or mirrors, and exit slits. The difference between monochromators and filters is given here. Monochromators can do absorption. Monochromators can do diffraction while filters can do absorption. Their wavelength width is narrow in monochromators while it is wide in filters. Monochromators are expensive while filters are cheap. The portability of monochromators is none while the filters are very portable. The monochromators are capable of recording spectra while filters cannot do this. Monochromators are suitable for quantitative analysis and the filters are also suitable for quantitative analysis. Filters Filters are very simple. They are sheets of plastic or glass that simply absorb wavelength other than those required for the analysis. Generally, the range of wavelengths allowed by a filter is relatively wide. Monochromators are far more complicated and comprise a series of optics inside a light-proof box which has entry and exit slits which allow the radiation of all wavelengths in a wide and a narrow range of wavelength out. Prisms. The white light pass through a piece of glass and be divided into rainbow spectrum. The problems with the prism include relatively poor throughput. The total amount of light passes through is significantly less than the amount that went in, and the difficulty in finding materials that diffract different wavelength ranges. Prism in many older instruments can be used to diffract light at different angles as discussed by the Snell's law. Typical prism monochromators consist of entrance slits, collimating lens, then prism, also focusing lens, and the exit slits. A special wavelength of desired length can pass through the exit slits only. Entrance slits allow source radiation to illuminate the first lens which collimates the light spreading it across the face of the prism. Prism disperses radiation into component wavelengths and the second lens focuses the spectrum at the focal plane. An exit slit selects the band of radiation to reach the detector. Gratings. Gratings is a device which consists of series of parallel and closely spaced grooves, rules on glass or any reflecting surface. Gratings are of two types: transmission gratings and reflection gratings. UV gratings have 2000 to 6000 grooves per mm. IR gratings have 10 to 100 grooves per mm. Material used for constructions of grating are quartz, sodium chloride, and potassium bromide. Monochromators can be shown here like a map that it consists of entrance slits. The entrance slits having mirror passes the light to the collimating mirror M1 Then it goes to the grating or prism. The prism divides the light into different wavelengths, which goes to the collimating mirror M2, and only the focused light can when can go through the mirror M4 and exit from the slit and strikes on the detector. Thank you so much. This is the end of infrared spectroscopy part 2.